When I travel, when I fly, I like to do it calmly. I like to be patient. I show up to the airport early. I get through security mostly relaxed. I don't crowd the gate when I board. Think Yoda from Star Wars when he travels. This is what I try for. This policy was really tested last year in July when I got stuck during the CrowdStrike outage that grounded planes and closed airports around the world. I was in Mexico visiting my fiance and his family. The morning of the outage, we were up early, having breakfast. Everything was fine until I got a little text message from United telling me my flights might be delayed. And it turned out they were delayed by an hour. Big deal. Okay, I'm on my way, I'm ready to go. An hour's not a big deal. Get in the car, driving to the airport, I got another message. Delayed again. This time another hour. Also, my connecting flight in Houston was delayed. Still, no big deal. I'm on my way. It's fine. I won't arrive in San Francisco at 6, instead I'll get there at 8. By the time I got to the airport, all my flights were canceled. The screens, the arrival and departure screens, were blank, and I had no idea what was going on. So I walked up to the counter, where she's standing there, and I said, do I have a flight at all? Am I even going home? And she said, well, there is a flight leaving tonight at 8. My initial flight was around noon. And she said, you can also go tomorrow if you want to. Now, the ride to the airport is actually long and harrowing in Monterey, and I didn't want to do that again. I also had to get to work, and I missed my cab. So I decided to fly to Houston. I said, I'll just do it. Maybe I can catch another flight. Maybe it doesn't have to be United, but at least I can get home, or most of the way. By the time we landed in Houston, the captain had come over, the PA, and said, attention passengers, we're landing in Houston, and no flights will be leaving Houston. We're all grounded. Still, there were no answers. Airlines were not answering questions, and they weren't explaining anything. So I went through customs, got to the terminal, and there were hundreds of people just mulling about, trying to figure out what the hell is going on. Many people started snaking into this line, going up to the ticket counter. There were 2 agents. It was 1 in the morning. And they were yelling at everybody, we are not booking hotels for anyone. We're not arranging transportation for anybody. If you need to stay over, you need to do it yourself. I've never been in a situation like this where I was told point blank I was screwed. I got up to the front and the guy said, I can get a connection for you. Like, that's all I can do. He said, I do have a plane. It leaves in 2 days. I couldn't believe he could predict that it was actually going to be leaving in 2 days. And here are all these people behind me and the one other agent, and I'm supposed to make a decision right now. And I thought, Yoda doesn't have to do this. Like, am I really supposed to make this decision? And I realized, yes, I am. Okay, I'll take the flight. 2 days. I spent the next 2 days in a small hotel off a dusty highway in the rural portion of Houston, quarter mile away from a Denny's. I won't go into that portion. I'll just say the food was terrible. I didn't sleep. Back to the airport 2 days later. My flight's at 6:30 in the morning. So I showed up at about 4. Within about an hour, everybody in Houston just started flooding into the airport. Families, people with huge bags. I expected this to be like a circus, like animals and flying trapeze artists. I just couldn't believe what was happening. And there were no employees anywhere. There wasn't a single person at the counter. There wasn't a single security person. There wasn't someone watching the door. And people just started forming random lines. I thought, this is madness. At 6 a.m., it was like somebody took out a starting gun and fired into the air. Suddenly, the circus was on fire. Like, people were just running any way they could go. They realized that the line they were standing in was nothing. This wasn't a line. This is some guy who stopped, and more people stopped behind him. And I saw security, and I ran. I just went right for it, through security, to my gate, on the plane, and we were in the air in 15 minutes. And if I had not done that, I would not have made it. I thought that this was the end of the story and that I was in the clear. Unbutton my shirt, order a drink. Nope. When I got on the plane, I got on behind a woman with her 4-year-old. They ended up sitting across the aisle from me. She had 2 roller bags, 2 giant sacks, and a wheeled cart to haul them all on. She took her whole overhead and half of mine, and I had to put my stuff 3 aisles behind me. I was not happy with her, but you know what? Yoda doesn't care. Take a breath. Take a breath, Derek. It's all right. Because who cares? I'm on my way home. Now, a little backstory. I have an inner ear issue that requires that when I'm flying, I get a window seat and I look outside and keep my eyes on the horizon, essentially a fixed point, so that when the plane is moving and doing all of this, my inner ear isn't thrown out of whack. Because if it is, I can have a vertigo episode that lasts a week. So I always buy a window seat. I do try to lower it a little bit because I know people don't like the light coming in. 15 seconds before landing. And I'm honestly thinking, I cannot wait to hear the wheels hit the ground. But instead, I hear her, "Hey, would you close that window?" And I looked at her, and Yoda, I put earplugs in his ears, and I put him over here, and here's the language. I said, "Fuck you. Fuck you. I have been traveling for 3 days just to get home. I have eaten shit food, I have not slept, and I've had to deal with the likes of you the whole time. And you can't stand a little sun in your eyes coming through my window for 15 fucking seconds." The plane was silent. No one said anything. And you know what? I suffered no repercussions. I mean, was I going to get ejected from the flight 10, 15 seconds before touchdown? I let her get off. I took the earplugs out of Yoda's ears. "It's okay, little guy." And everything was fine after that. On the way home, I realized that I lost my cool. But I also said it's okay, because Yoda isn't passive. Wanting to do things comfortably and having things be easy isn't a passive attitude. And besides, Yoda is a warrior. Inside him and inside me is a bear. And God help you, and may the force be with you if you poke it. Thank you.